Welcome on into a Falcons mailbag. Matthew Peterson here answering questions that were asked during our live show, which PSA airs every single Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, our first one coming in from Cousin Stan. Cousin Stan asking, Michael Thomas is still out there. Would you sign Slant Boy for cheap? No. Because if you're signing Michael Thomas, you're signing him because of the name and the recognition of what he was able to do years ago. But you're not getting that guy anymore. That guy's gone. Michael Thomas, the last 4 years, has been largely unavailable and largely unproductive. So, yeah, at one point he was a big name, but I don't think you're going to find that production anymore. So I ain't interested in Michael Thomas. Sorry. Dat one Falcons fan. I heard rumors that Matthew Judon is unlikely to return to New England, so why not trade for him? Here's my trade scenario. Matthew Judon and a 2025 fourth, and New England gets a 2025 second and fourth. So basically Judon for a second, more or less here at that one Falcons fan. I don't think it's going to cost you a second for Judon. He's coming off a down year, coming off an injury-plagued season, or, not plagued, but only played 4 games. And he's entering the final year of his contract, so not a whole bunch of long-term control in that regard. I'm all for adding an edge rusher, don't get me wrong. I don't think you have to give up a second for Judon, though. I don't think you'll see Judon get traded before the season starts. I think we'll see Judon get traded before the trade deadline. I'd almost say that's a guarantee. I think the Patriots are going to stink it up this year, and as a result, they will be unloading some of their veteran assets like Matthew Judon. If anyone would be interested in Juju Smith-Schuster, I bet he'd be available, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets cut because he sucks. So I'm all for trading for Judon. I don't think it's going to even cost you a second-round pick, but I don't think it would happen until the NFL trade deadline. Plus, I think the Falcons are going to want to try and bet on some of their younger guys, at least out of the gates a little bit more. Frank Lopez, which game should I attend, Pittsburgh or Kansas? So you got week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers or Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs, where the honorable owner of the Falcons, Arthur Blank, is inducting himself into the Ring of Honor. I would say Chiefs. And here's why. If the Falcons win that game, that's going to be a great one to share with everyone that you attended. As fun as it is just to go to any NFL game, and like a Pittsburgh Steelers home game, or home game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and a homecoming for Arthur Smith, being able to see Patrick Mahomes, as fanboy as that sounds, I think it's something you wouldn't want to pass on. So I'd go with the Chiefs. It's Sunday Night Football. If they can win, man, you're going to tell everyone for the next year, I was at that Chiefs game. Taylor Elwell, next one up. Is Ray-Ray McCloud a lock to do all the returns? I wouldn't say necessarily a lock. Like he's at the lockiest lane in Lockland, USA, but I think he's pretty close to it. They're getting Avery Williams back. Remember, he tore his ACL last year early in training camp, so there'll be some competition there. But also, it's going to be a 2-man job. Teams have to have 2 players in the landing zone, which is the goal line to the 20-yard line. So we're going to have 2 return men. Now, we'll see how teams kind of set it up and design it, whether they're staggered, 1 at each hash, and whoever goes to, that's where they return it, or if they're kind of like, a gentleman's and beer pong, I formation action, and whoever's supposed to be the designated return man will run to that ball. But I think Ray-Ray McCloud is going to be your primary returner. They signed him for an explicit reason, and it ain't to play wide receiver. Cap a lot of bussin'. If Cousins wins a Super Bowl, will he pass Matt Ryan as the best franchise player? I don't think so. For this, I often draw a comparison to the Miami Heat franchise. Is LeBron James the best player in Miami Heat franchise? Like, sure, he's probably the best basketball player that ever put on a Heat jersey, but I think Dwayne Wade is the best Heat player of all time because of the longevity and the success that Wade was able to capture on his own and then with LeBron. Now, unfortunately for Matt Ryan, he was not able to win one on his own, but still, I think the longevity aspect of it, I don't think Kirk Cousins getting 1 Super Bowl in 3, maybe 4 years in Atlanta, even though it is a soupy, I don't think that can overcome what Matt Ryan was able to do for this franchise, which was, before he got there, like one of the losingest franchises, and he was able to help stabilize it. And since he's been gone, it's been very clear and evident like how important he was to this team when it came to winning. Jason Greenway, over or under Kyle Pitts 900 yards. CLNS, one more drinking show. I'm gonna say over. Yeah, I'm gonna say over, and here's why. You know Drake London's gonna get his targets. He's gonna get his yards. He's gonna get his grabs. Darnell Mooney is next in line at wide receiver. I don't think Darnell Mooney is that huge of a threat to Kyle Pitts' targets. And I think Pitts could, go bar for bar with Mooney when it comes to targets, ball for ball. So, yeah, I'll pencil myself into the over. I think I'm partially also giving off a little bit of radiation of like July eagerness for football, where ask me any question about the upcoming season, and I'll take the positive route because I'm just so excited for football to be back. But I'll cautiously take the over. 900 is a big number, but he got to 1,000 his rookie year with Matt Ryan. Why can't he get to 1,000 with Kirk Cousins? All right, before we move on to the rest of the questions on today's episode, get with the number one Falcons YouTube channel out there. There is no other Falcons YouTube channel that is larger than our channel other than the Falcons' own YouTube channel. And we are probably going to catch up to them at some point. So make sure you're getting the best Falcons YouTube content possible by hitting that sub button. The Dogstis, something like that. Will Bijan Robinson be a top 5 running back after this season? Okay, there's a couple of ways to measure top 5 running back, but I'll assume you're saying like top 5 in rushing yards. I think he will. He was 15th at the end of last year. He was 6th in total yards of rushing and receiving. And the verbiage that was used in the offseason was Bijan's going to be more of a runner this year and maybe pull back a little bit on his receiving abilities or his receiving responsibilities. So I think there is a very high chance we see Bijan crack the top 5. Plus, if you guys looked at the running back crop for this upcoming season, when we went through that era of like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, once they'd all retired, it was like, damn, all the legends we grew up with are gone. We're at that point now with running backs. Look around a little bit. There's Christian McCaffrey. The next best running back, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, James Cook, Bijan, he's not going up against prime AP. Derrick Henry's kind of cooked at this point. Joe Mixon's washed. Nick Chubb's coming off a torn ACL, so that's kind of a question mark. Saquon, he's kind of been injury plagued the last few years. So I don't think it's that great of a running back class at the moment that Bijan can't just slip in the top 5, even without looking like what a top 5 running back would look like in previous years. I think we can see Bijan finish top 5. All right, Archangel, next one up. Could Penix truly light a bigger flame up under Kirk if Penix shows up and shows out during preseason and have Captain slaying us to the playoffs and possibly deep within the playoffs? Okay, Archangel, you got to help me out a little bit here. So, are you asking if Archangel could, take the Falcons to the playoffs, or what am I missing here? Let's circle back to this one. Archangel, I'll let you clear it up because I'm just a little confused myself, and I want to give you the best answer possible. So, Archangel, we'll come back to your question. ATL Jet Jones, what do you think about Troy Anderson getting a shot at returning kickoffs? I know it wouldn't happen, but I think his size and speed, who would want to tackle that guy? That's a good point. The kickoffs this year, I think the return men are going to be better suited if they approach it like a running back compared to the previous kickoff rule. Previous rule was to be a track star, right? Was to get the ball and to immediately run as fast as possible because they're running at you with a head start as fast as possible. The new rules are they can't move until you touch the ball. So once you catch the ball, then they start moving, and everyone's starting off at the same speed. And that kind of reminds me of every single play during the offense at the line of scrimmage. Defense isn't moving until the offense starts moving, right? Once the ball is snapped, we get a collision. And in those situations, do you put running backs in the backfield or wide receivers in the backfield? You put your running back in the backfield because it's more about patience and recognizing the hole and bursting through it. Not about just straight line speed, which is what you get from your wide receivers. So, I know that didn't really directly answer the Troy Anderson element of your question, but I think that's what you're going to be looking for in return men this year. So, could Troy Anderson do that? Probably not. Like, he still has to catch the ball at the 1 yard line and get a good sprint in all the way to the 20-25 before they start closing in. That's a long way for the big fella to run. I don't think that's a good idea. Andrew Beto. Oh, $2 super chat from Andrew. Thank you very much, Andrew. Would you guys want Keanu Neal back for cheap? Not like against it. I'll put it this way. If you want to get away with anything, just say blank for cheap. And how can I be against that? It's for cheap. The Falcons have 3 big bets on defense. Zach Harrison, Clark Phillips, DeMarco Helms. I've said it before on the videos I've done here, and I'll say it again. I would not mind hedging any of those bets. Bring in some veteran. If that rookie or that second-year man actually, lives up to expectations, all right, it's for cheap. What do we care? It's not my money. So, Andrew, I've got no qualms. Archangel, I'm saying if Penix shows out during the preseason, has a great preseason, could that spark a flame under Kirk and make Captain Kirk great? Okay. Make Captain Kirk great again. Oh, boy. We're going to get a lot of commenters on this one. Yeah, I would think the competitive nature could kick in. So, sure. That's like a personal level for Kirk Cousins that I think you have to know Kirk on a personal level to know how he would kind of respond to if Penix is awesome in the preseason, if Penix is on the front lines of all the papers, if he's the number one topic in the media room, if the whole locker room is rallying around him, how does he, respond to that? He's kind of turtle up and be like, all right, well, if you guys like Penix so much, play him. I don't care. Or is he going to be like, all right, I'll win you guys over? I think you have to know Kirk Cousins on a personal level to know the answer to that question. That one Falcons fan. Who leads the Falcons in a single game sacks all time? Good question. 3 names come to mind as possible candidates. Vic Beasley, John Abraham. Adrian Claiborne was a question we had on the last trivia question, so I'll partially put him in there. Man, it feels too obvious to say John Abraham, but I kind of want to say John Abraham.
I will.
Producer Reed?
Yeah, I will fact check you. I have the answer right here.
Is it one of those 3 guys?
You said the name.
Okay, so it's one of those 3 guys. It's not Vic Beasley. I don't think it's Vic Beasley. Although probably now is Vic Beasley. Screw it. I'll go with Adrian Claiborne.
You are correct.
Let's go! It felt destiny
you.
After he was the answer the last time. I was like,
tried to trick you.
Yeah. Good trivia. That's today's trivia question for everyone. Okay. Let's run through just the rest of the super chats on our mailbag, and then we'll let you guys get on with the rest of your day here. Or do you have another question?
Yeah, we have one last.
All right, one last question. Sorry, I'm going out of turn here. Okay. All right, final question coming in from Cousin Stan. Yet again. Any chance the Falcons trade Tyler Allgeier to the Cowboys? I have seen the Cowboys are in the market for a running back. Like Zeke is their current starter, I think, right now. That's a bit concerning. So Tyler Allgeier would be the starter in Dallas, and I don't think it's a bad idea to trade Tyler Allgeier, but I don't think it's something you have to rush to do. Like, he's a 1,000-yard rusher 2 seasons ago. He's a really good goal line and short yardage situation back. Like, he could have a role on this offense. My thinking is this is going to be a heavy pass-dominated offense. So if, let's say, the Falcons give their running backs 300 carries a season last year, and let's say 200 went to Bijan and 100 went to Tyler Allgeier, just to keep the math easy. I think this year we see 300 carries go to running backs, but now it's 225 to Bijan, 75 to Allgeier. So if Allgeier is just not getting a lot of touches, because you want to pass the ball so much that you're not adding more run plays in so that Allgeier and Bijan can get the same amount of touches they had last year or similar to, then it makes some sense to trade him, right? But I think the Falcons will be patient. They won't be in a rush. And it could be very well a situation where if a team loses their running back in training camp or preseason and they get a phone call that say, listen, we'll give you a 4th-round pick for your backup running back. It'd be borderline malpractice for the Falcons not to take them up on that offer, right? And it's next man up mentality, and you've got a new backup running back behind Bijan. But I think it has to be something like that in order for an Allgeier trade to get facilitated. All right, that will do it for us on today's mailbag. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see everyone next time.